Hi everyone, it's Jodi. Today is my 24-year anniversary with Stampin' Up. May 21st, 2001 is when I purchased that Stampin' Up starter kit to become a demonstrator. And I just can't believe that it's been 24 years already. It has been such an amazing experience for me personally, but also for my family. It's just been wonderful these last 24 years. And I just so much appreciate you and your support of my business. When you place an order with me, when you attend one of my events, it all is appreciated. And so I wanted to share with you this thank you card that I made. So we're going to go ahead and walk through this, and I'll show you some tips and tricks. It's using the Impressions Abloom bundle, and that is also the bundle for my May bundle of the month. And so I'll tell you some more details as we go about how you can get a 16 card video class for free with your order from me this month. It's a really amazing resource that will just give you so much creative inspiration. So I'm excited to tell you more about that and to show you some tips and tricks for this card. So before I jump in with the card, I want to show you the products I'll be using. So this is the Impressions Abloom stamp set. So there's some different floral images as well as some greetings. And then there are coordinating dies, and these dies are just top notch. So not only do you have the die that will cut out the stamped flower, but you can also get all of this amazing detail. Let me show you just really quickly what that can look like. So on this card here, I not only cut out the shape of the flower, but then I use the die to give all of that detail. And you can see it on the different flower pieces and then also on the leaves there. So there's a lot that you can do with these dies, and there's a few different ones like that. You also have some stems on here, little tiny flowers, just a really great bundle. There are also these two oval dies, and this card kind of shows you what you can do with that. So it die cuts the oval, so you've really got two different sizes. So I can use it like this, where the inside layer is just raised up and it kind of creates like a frame from the negative space. But you can also die cut and then get a thin border. Do I have one of those die cut? I do. A thin border piece like this that's also die cut. So it's really versatile what you can do with these dies. I've been having so much fun with this bundle. It's just been really easy to create with. So these are two cards that I have already made. This one is part of my bundle of the month tutorial. So I'll tell you about that as we go and how you can get that video class for free. Let's take a look though at some of the papers. This paper that coordinates is called Floral Impressions, and kind of looks like this one's upside down a little bit. Let me turn this. So there's a lot of floral pieces. So I'll just kind of zip through some of them. All of our designer paper is double-sided, so I'm showing you the more detailed and decorated side first. And then we've got one more here. There we go. This one is kind of cool because it just like walks you through that whole spectrum of colors. Really, really pretty. And then on the back side of all of these, you have more neutral tone-on-tone patterns that are just really fun to work with as well. So this designer paper has been really a lot of fun to play with. There are also these gold frames. So the designer of this product suite has mentioned that they were inspired by pressed flowers. And then also they're seeing a lot of gold frame trending today too. So this one, so I pulled in, let me see. So there's these different, what is the name of this? This is called Foiled Frames and Labels Ephemera Pack. And you get several sheets. I just kind of pulled in one of each. So there's some different shaped labels on here. And what's cool, like I am going to use this one on my project today. So I will use this label and actually stamp my greeting on that and add it to the card. But you can also use this like next layer here as a frame and pulling this card back in again. That's what I did with this large gold frame here. So that was this piece that's missing from here. I used the frame part on this card. So that is really fun to work with as well. Okay. I think I've got all that out of the way, so we could go ahead and get started. So I've already shown you, this is the card. I wanted to make a thank you card to express my appreciation for my 24 years as a demonstrator. And so I will pull in these supplies and get started. This card base is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's pretty in pink. So we'll just fold that in half to get a nice crisp fold with that bone folder. And then I have a piece of the designer paper that I just showed. This is 5.25 by 2 3/4. And so I'll just use my Stampin' and Seal adhesive. That was a bigger mouthful than it should have been. To attach this, and we'll just do it leaving a little bit of a border on the top, bottom, and left-hand side. Those are even borders around there. Now I'm going to pull in that little label that I had with the gold around the edges, and I'm going to pull in the thanks and stamp this with fresh freesia ink. And I'm going to do it a little bit left of center. So I'll stamp the thanks, set that aside. I'm going to leave my ink pad open because I'm going to use it again in just a moment. And then Blackberry Bliss. I like that the thanks and so very much are separate images because then it gives me the option to go ahead and use two different colors if I want to. So I like the way Fresh Freesia and Blackberry Bliss look together on this here. So thanks so very much. I'll go ahead and I'm going to set this just kind of on here where I'm going to put it. And I'm going to pull in some new ribbon. This is Strawberry Slush. It's one of our new ink colors. You can see this color in some of the floral images. And this is faux linen ribbon. And so I'm going to just cut a little bit here with my snips, about that long. It doesn't have to be really precise. This is about 3.5 inches, but it's just enough to kind of give me a little layer that I'm going to put under this label. So I will just scoot that off to the side, and I'll bring back my adhesive and just put a little bit on there, and I'll just tack it down there in the center and just kind of press it into the adhesive. I don't put adhesive on the ribbon. It tends to be really hard to work with. So I always place the ribbon on my cardstock or paper and then set the ribbon down into it. So now I'll take some Stampin' Dimensionals and put those on the back of the label. And then we'll attach that to the card and just have it be a popped up raised layer. So I've mentioned this bundle of the month a few times, and I wanted to just let you know how easy it is to participate in that. So when you do a $75 order with me, you can order whatever the heck you want. A $75 order, you get access to my bundle of the month video class. And I've collaborated with 15 others, so there are 16 of us. We have each created a card this month with the Impressions Abloom. So this is my card for that video class. And in the video class, what I do and what you get is a PDF, and it's got a project sheet for each card. So on my project sheet, you'll see a photo of the card, you'll see the supplies that I used and measurements, and then there's a link to my video. And we have private videos. They are exclusive just for people who receive the Bundle of the Month tutorial, the video class. And you get to click on that private video and it walks you through how to make my card. And then there's a separate project sheet for all 16 cards. So you're going to get a document that's got 16 different designs, all with Impressions Abloom, 16 different videos. They're short videos, so it's not going to take you days and days to watch them, but it's just such an amazing resource for you to have. The one thing I wanted to point on here, so this image is like for the center of a flower, and what I did with it is I stamped it to give a polka dot background on the white card base. So there's all sorts of tips and different unique ways to use the Impressions Abloom bundle. So just a quick little info on that. Now to make the, let me pull the card back in so you can see all we have to do yet is add this flower focal point. And I tried a couple of different things. Let me show you what I did first. So I took this, let me make sure, yeah. So I took this floral image, I inked it up and I stamped off once and then I stamped again. So it's definitely, you know, when you stamp off, a lot of the ink comes off and then you have a lighter color. Well, then I took the detailed image and inked that up and put it over. I have to move it a little bit so I can see better. And stamped over it. And I just didn't love the way that that looked because I felt like it was really hard to see the actual petals. I felt like all I was seeing was the detail of the flower. So then I decided, instead of stamping off with my fresh freesia, I decided to go ahead and use a different color. So I'm pulling Blackberry Bliss back in with that detailed image. And let's see if I can do it right this way. I'm going to show you another little tip. Not too bad. What I like to do with this is I go ahead and I ink it up and I stamp down the detail first. Then I go back with the fresh freesia, ink that up, and now when I go over it, I can see the detail so much better, and I can go down and stamp over that detail. So you can see I was able to line it up better here than I was there. So you have other options too. You could take the Blackberry Bliss and you could stamp off once and then stamp it and then go back in, line it up, and get those petals over the top. So there's a lot of different combinations. The one that I ended up going with for this card, this, like I said, I felt like you couldn't see the petals. This was kind of dark and a little too abrupt for me for the way the color was on the designer paper. So this is what I ended up with. So again, that's taking the detail, inking it up in Blackberry Bliss, stamping off once, and then here, and then putting the full petals over it with fresh freesia. So Blackberry Bliss stamped off once is how I got this combination here. So then I just pulled in my leaf image and garden green ink and stamped that a couple of times on my paper as well. And what's cool about this die set is that it's got 2 leaf dies. So most often we stamp more than 1 leaf. And so it's pretty cool because I can take that die here and this one here and cut them at the same time. And then, which way is this going? Here. So I can line up all my dies and cut the flower and the 2 leaves all at the same time. Once I do that, then for the finished card, I just put some Stampin', oh no, I didn't. I have a Stampin' Dimensional under that label, but then these, you can see, I just connected to the label itself. So the label is raised up, and then the leaves and the flower are just connected to the corner of the label. Finally, I pulled in, these are flat pearls. So our in color flat pearls. And what's pretty cool is these are last year's in colors and these are the brand new in colors. And so it's fun that we have these different embellishments in all of the in colors. There's 3 different sizes for each color and they are flat pearls, which makes it really nice for mailing. It doesn't add bulk. So I took the largest size of the Darling Duckling, the yellow color, and added that to the center to really draw your eye in on that focal point. So that is what I have for you today. Thanks so very much for supporting my business these last 24 years. I very much appreciate that. And if you do your $75 order by the end of the month, you will get the 16-card Impressions Abloom video class right in your inbox, and you'll have access to 16 different cooking creative cards with that Impressions Abloom bundle. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.